believe there is a demi-monde, a half-world between what we know and what we fear. A place in the shadows, rarely seen but deeply felt, where some unfortunate souls are cursed to live always.
That sounds like a warning.
It's an invitation.
Penny Dreadful first premiered in May of 2014 and concluded its first season this past summer. It is currently in the process of making its name and finding its niche. Many shows have trouble surviving their first season, so it's important to understand the show's premise and the audience with which Penny Dreadful connects. This video will also want to examine the network producing the show as well as its ownership. Like many others in our cyber world, I seem to fall victim to my personal Facebook, Netflix, and social media pages more often than I would like to admit. As a rabid follower of the popular Showtime series Dexter, I would often see suggestions appear to me in my daily news feed, such as, "Because you like Dexter, you should try insert title here." It was via this Facebook suggestion where I first happened upon the title of Penny Dreadful. After a few clicks, I discovered this would be a new gothic horror series on Showtime featuring, quote-unquote, timeless horror characters. Oh dear God, what fresh hell was this going to be? In a world where we've been inundated with sparkly vampires and cuddly werewolves, we needed another ridiculous display. Although I was somewhat intrigued, my expectations were not high. Alas, my desperation to fill the Dexter void in my Sunday evening television time slot outweighed my skepticism. To my utmost surprise, upon viewing the Penny Dreadful series premiere, I was delightfully refreshed to realize series creator John Logan provided me more than a replacement. He has given me a new love affair. Logan and his writing team have taken the classic literature characters of Dracula, Dr. Frankenstein, Dorian Gray, as well as some fascinatingly complex original players, and tossed them all into a supernatural, horror, gothic blender, and then he flipped the mix switch. What he produces is a deliciously dramatic, scary, and heart-pounding cocktail. Penny Dreadful is set in London and opens in 1891, just as the terrifying rampage of Jack the Ripper comes to a close. In this charming, almost Dickens-like Victorian setting, original characters Vanessa Ives, portrayed by Eva Green, and Sir Malcolm Murray, Timothy Dalton, search for the latter's missing daughter Mina, who has actually been abducted by Dracula. Vanessa employs the assistance of an American named Ethan Chandler, portrayed by Josh Hartnett, a mysterious soul with amazing sharpshooting techniques and a seemingly dismal past. Throughout their search, these three encounter Dorian Gray, Dr. Frankenstein, as well as other assorted original characters in what quickly becomes a quality hybrid production, mixing supernatural horror, Scooby-Doo/Sherlock Holmes detective fiction, and epic suspense. For good measure, Logan and his writing team also throw in the spooky classics like serial killers, seances, and demonic possession. Yes, that's correct. Satan, too, actually joins in on the fun. So what makes Penny Dreadful so special? There are several reasons, but I've actually narrowed them down. For one, the characters. Everyone's actually pretty fabulous, and the character development is tremendous, but namely Eva Green and Josh Hartnett knock it out of the park. Green's portrayal as the complex, poised, and wickedly disturbed Vanessa Ives is hauntingly charming, while Hartnett's Ethan Chandler is easily one of his best roles. Chandler seems to have more to hide than anyone, and once you think you have him figured out, he actually surprises you. Number two, monsters are actually scary again. No longer do vampires sparkle, nor do they resemble pale, pubescent girls. They're actually scary. No longer is Frankenstein's monster the big green dude with the bolts protruding from his neck, a la Herman Munster. He is actually scary. Number three, Lucifer likes to leap. Just when you think one character is who you think they aren't. Satan likes to jump around and take over. What seems to be real may not be so real. You're kept on your toes. While we're on the subject of demonic possessions, those are actually scary again too. Projectile vomiting, head spinning, vein busting, and face biting. All the essentials are included. Last but not least, just simply good writing. There's not really much to say here, the show's just beautifully written. The witty banter between the characters, along with the plot lines, makes for a well-executed drama. Enough said on that.
I believe in curses. I believe in demons. I believe in monsters. Do you?
Personally, the reason I like the show is actually the suspense and the plot. It's what keeps everybody intrigued. The horror serves its purpose, and I definitely get the creeps when it's supposed to be intended. It sounds corny and cliche, but you actually always sit on the edge of the seat because the script is so well done and it's just that captivating. Typically when I explain the show to others, I've gotten some great reactions. People seem intrigued by the premise. I've turned quite a few people onto it, and these folks have become loyal fans. Speaking of fans, you can actually find fans of Penny Dreadful online via Facebook. There's the official Penny Dreadful page, as well as numerous Facebook pages set up by fans. Dreadfuls, as the fans have been named, interact via these sites as well as different fan forums. They've also attended 2014's Comic-Con in San Diego, where cast members and creator John Logan sat for a panel discussion. Speaking of the show's creators, let's take a look at who is responsible for this amazing creation. Penny Dreadful was created and written by John Logan and co-produced by Showtime and Sky Atlantic. The Showtime network is owned by the CBS Corporation, while Sky Atlantic is owned by British Sky Broadcasting. Determining ownership is always important due to copyright and trademark laws. It also helps us understand the audiences the networks actually target. Showtime seems to seek out more mature audiences with shows such as Shameless, Ray Donovan, and Dexter. Like Penny Dreadful, these shows all contain adult themes, sex, violence, and are intended for adults. While the shows mentioned are intended for a mature audience, they each have a different theme. However, they each push the envelope as far as sexuality, morality, and ethical behavior. Showtime's production not only allows Penny Dreadful to push the envelope, but funding also allows for high production value. Set and costume designs are so very high quality and add so much that they almost become a separate character to the show. I don't think the show would have this kind of budget if it were independently funded or produced by an indie network. Ultimately, that could have hurt the quality of the production, and the audience may not take away as much as they do. So what do I take away from the show? What is the ultimate lesson? Everyone has something to hide, and there is something within all of us itching to get out. Penny Dreadful Season 1 was released on Blu-ray in October. You have time to catch up before Season 2. Are you ready to become a Dreadful?
Do you believe the past can return?
More than that, it never leaves us. It is who we are.
God help us then.